felt like a Spanish, like a Puerto Rican in this hair.
Episode 5, man. We're making it, right?
Here we go.
Man, it's been fun so far.
I'm still enjoying it.
So we've officially, we've started on the YouTube platform.
Yeah, and we got a lot better results than I was expecting, to be honest.
It's the 1st of March. We've got everything going on our major stream platforms. I just want to say I appreciate everyone so far who's thrown in to help.
Yeah, a lot of good feedback from friends and stuff too.
I've been enjoying it, dude.
Yeah, for sure. Keeping it rolling.
So the hardest part is sometimes getting past the first 2 episodes and keeping it moving.
Sure.
So today, man, we're going to talk about you're not that special and what matters. We're going to dive into what's not, why are you not that special and why that's okay. Going into measuring life. What's our metric? How are we measuring what's valuable for us? And then the third section tonight's winning isn't everything. But as you know, we're jumping into youth sports, right? Winning isn't everything, but let's try to tell that to youth sports parents, which is both of us, right?
Yeah.
So, all right.
That's fun stuff.
Dadalogues, unfiltered. This is Beyond the Porch. Getting it, man, this has been so fun. I've enjoyed the talking and just enjoying a drink. This has been a chill conversation, and I've enjoyed having the conversations with you, man. I've appreciated.
Yeah. Slows the week down a little.
And
again, something to look forward to.
Having you push me, I struggle because I want to make things perfect. I want everything to be just right. And if it's not just right, it's like I'm hesitant to do it. Like I'm afraid to fail. And I think that kind of ties into some of this. What we're going to talk about is, when we're talking about you're not that special, and going into the reality of our existence, right? Why is it okay to be average? And I struggle with that because, like, I talk about this a lot. The expectations and emotions, they're tied together. If I don't make a show that's perfect, that everybody likes, that everybody gives me positive feelings about, man, it makes me feel like, gosh,
inadequate.
Right? And so it's like, is it the fear of that failure, the fear of that not being successful that really pulls me down, or is it
maybe? I don't know. I can't relate to that. I'll try anything once guy. I actually made the point the other day in my personal life. Had a person that I know was kind of stressing about the first thing we were doing. And I was like, hey, why are you stressing over the first time? I was like, everybody's got to pass on the first one. I was like, the first one's the one you really screw up. I was like, nobody expects the first one to be perfect.
Yeah.
But now if we get 30 deep and it's still junk, then
right? Yeah, there's a bunch of drunk guys talking about crap.
Yeah, we might want to reconsider.
So when you think about it, I said mundane existence, but we're really not that. We don't really amount. I know this sounds very like a way to bring the episode in from the bottom.
No, you're not shit.
You don't amount to anything in this world. Very few people in this world really make much of a thing. And if you look at how our minds are, and over millennial of generations, when you think about tombs made for kings, right? That's lasted forever, right?
Yeah.
We've got buildings named after presidents who are no longer here. We've got monuments over certain people that are no longer here. And people, especially in Alabama, we fought over, I wasn't part of any movement, but people went to the streets over a guy on a horse from the Civil War having a statue of someone because what it stood for, what it meant for, but it's just a guy.
Yeah, and it's a drop in a bucket when you think about the world's population. I don't know what it is. You have to Google it or look it up yourself. It's billions, right? Are we in the billions on human population on Earth? Who are you? It's and all the guys who had the monuments and the tombs and this and that, man. Yeah, they were special, but still drop in a bucket.
Right? What did King Tut ever do for you?
Not a thing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and there's some people, you look at religious leaders, Buddha, Jesus, you can name several religious people who have really,
Yeah, people get, I ain't going to say lucky, but there's certain people that mark their, legacy or whatever in the world's history, but it don't mean it's going to be me or you.
We talked about pause, but you also see people who go out and do stuff like shoot down schools and go and take like terrible acts to be able to put their
for
name.
their little 15 minutes of fame.
And I think I probably even said it on the episode before that, you are only going to live in this world until someone either forgets about you or quits using your name.
Yeah.
When you say when you go back 4 generations, like who was your third great grandfather? Do you even know his name?
Your great grandkids are for sure not going to have an idea of what you did unless you got some really wild stories to pass down. And the wild stories are the only thing I know about anybody past my grandmother.
My dad shared stories where the house we were in growing up, like his grandfather cleared the land. Mm-hmm. He remembered that. He shared that with me. So, I can tell Lucas that, but I guarantee you in 50 years, he's going to drive through this town.
Nobody's going to have a clue.
He's not going to have any idea who the guy was,
a subdivision
what he did.
or a Dollar General on that land.
So, and I make that sound like man, what a downer. But what I say that is because and this is why it's okay. It's okay to be average. It's like, the people around you that matter the most, your kids, your family, your friends, like they don't need you to be a Jesus walking through the streets, They just need you to be there for them.
Yeah, I got a funny
They need you to exist.
I got a funny little thing. When I was learning how to frame houses, I was 19, 20 years old when I did that work. And 1920 doesn't know anything, greenhorn, whatever you want to call them. And whenever I would mess something up, I guess one of my mentors on the crew, it's okay, son. The world needs ditch diggers too. It's not everybody can be the top guy. And that was just his way of just kind of reality checking and getting a fire lit under me. But no, it's very true. You got to have somebody slinging the shovel. You got to have somebody telling you where to dig. I
think so many times we, as a society, has looked down on those certain jobs. Mm-hmm. What would happen in a neighborhood without a ditch? Houses flood. Where's the water going to go, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
And a lot of these actions are these jobs like our framers. It's some hard work. And Americans, they're pretty lazy when it comes to manual labor now. You see a lot of immigration coming in to take a lot of those jobs, and people
damn happy to take it too.
Yeah, people complain like, they're taking our jobs. Talking about illegal and legal immigrants. And I'm like, go bust your ass out there. You go do the work,
And I'm glad you brought that up because that's a fine point. I've been in the trades all of my adult life, most of my younger life and stuff. And the Spanish people, the Mexican folks, they are the happiest people. I see it a lot. I get up traveling around for work and stuff, and I'll see 4 Spanish men on a roof in the hot sun busting it. And I'll see 4 women down on the ground picking up nails, or kids picking up nails, women's making lunch. And
a lot of respect for that, dude.
It's the whole family. And they're up there, they got music going, they're
having a good time.
Yeah, but I don't know. You don't see all the white boys up there doing it.
I see a culture issue there.
Yeah.
Right? And then I look at that group of those guys doing that kind of stuff, and they're just happy.
Yeah.
Family's happy.
Yeah.
They're not millionaires. They got money, and but what they're doing is what they enjoy doing, but they are doing it for a reason that's important. It matters to them.
They know boss man's making 10 to 1 as far as money. Boss man's making 10, but they're thankful for 1, and they're appreciate. Hey, boss, I want to make you that 10 so I can get my 1. They're happy,
and that just goes into the whole point I'm trying to make is right. Sometimes we try to chase like an extraordinary success, right? Mm-hmm. Like we're dreaming about that boat house.
No, that's me.
The beach house, big ass truck.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
and it runs you down, dude.
But what happens when you get that, right?
Yeah.
10, 15 years from now, you get that, right?
Yeah.
You branch off, you get, you start rolling it in, you got more than you can handle. You got enough in the bank to buy a house, another house, or your third house, right? You got your house in the lake, you get your house in town.
Then it just all becomes too much to manage.
Well, it's not that. It's like once you get that goal,
what's the next goal?
Well, now what? What's the point of living? Once you get your goal, and that kind of ties in with like a value. I don't want to get too far into the topic, but you start tying that into when you start chasing that extraordinary goal. Now you forget what's the value. What are you working for? What are you trying for? And it changes your. I don't know. You start reading books that talks about some of that stuff, and it's like, it plays with your mind.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's just a one-way ticket to burnout. I mean, I just think you get smoked on that because, what if it takes you 30 years to hit it and then you do hit it? Now you're too old to do something again or, make a new goal or something. I don't know.
Then you think about like how many people, like you've seen some of those Wall Street episodes of people who have made the money, they've lost the money, and the financial collapse, systems collapse, they jump off buildings. Like, their life's over because they've lost money.
Yeah, they lost everything.
Money, right? It's a dollar bill.
No, I don't know.
People
money
do a lot
rules
for a
my
dollar
life
bill.
pretty hard, man. I stress about it way too much. That's why I let the wife balance the books. I just make it and then I get my little weekly allowance. As long as everything's paid, I'm good. I start realizing what we owe and how much we actually got, and I go into a spiral, man. So I stay away from all that.
But do you feel like you classify your version? What's your version of success, though?
Money.
So,
money, and I said some time, money and time balance, I guess, to put, if I had money to do whatever I want and the time to do whatever I want, that's success to me. But I have yet to figure out how to have both. I can have one or the other, but you cannot have both. We're getting there, though. We'll see.
And that's so when you start saying, like, what really matters to me, right? If you had to list, like, 3 things, it's like, and it's easy for us to say, hey, well, my family, my kids.
It's supposed to be God, family, country, but I'd be lying if I sat here and told you it was in that order.
In my head, it's like I'm almost like counseling my own self as I'm talking, right? It's like, so what is it about, God that I'm chasing? What is it about country I'm chasing? And what is it about family that I'm saying I'm chasing? Is it, hey, if I can go play catch with my kid in the front yard?
Probably all narrows down to peace. Don't it? It just kind of came to me a little bit. And you're playing catch with your boy in the yard. You ain't thinking about bills. And you ain't thinking about money. You're just playing catch with your boy, and it's peaceful. And birds are chirping. It's just chilling.
So like tonight, how many of us have a fight with our spouse over who's changing the shitty diaper?
Yeah. No, yeah.
How many, one day you're not going to have that conversation.
That's true. And then you're going to be wishing somebody would shit their pants in your house again.
Right. It's like, you walk through walk through Walmart and you look over at the formula and the diapers and, at one point in time and you forget, like, man, I was stressing about, can I afford the formula? Hey, I'm going to have to get the cheap diapers this time. I want to, it gives them a rash or something. It's like, it's not all about like, I bought diapers based on which one kept the pee in and which one didn't irritate the skin. Sure. And sometimes there's some people have to get the really expensive, like all natural, Yeah. So, but that's a point, you look at it and it's like, hell, that used to be my worry. And now my worry is something totally different. Is he going to make good grades? Is he going to make friends? Yeah. Is he going to be an entitled little brat and which he's turned into almost, but then he did chores, like he did some chores that emptying the dishwasher without asking. It's like, and that's valuable for me to see.
How do you go about rewarding that? Like, from what I'm gathering, he doesn't do that typically. Yeah. So you see that happening. What do you do to? Because my way of thinking about it is appreciate it, and that's all. And we just leave it at that simple. Appreciate. It's better than me harping on you about doing it. Me telling you to do it. So how did you, or didn't you go about rewarding it or encouraging that?
I allow him to eat.
Yeah, that's good enough for me.
I've joked with him. It's like, he's like, oh, you should give me this. I was like, buddy, and I started trying to explain some of the bill structure to him, like understanding what finances look like. He's like, oh, I should have all this. It's like, oh, he got a couple. He saves his money. He's like, oh, I can go buy a phone now. I said, yeah, you could buy it.
Can you pay the monthly bill?
He's like, what do you mean?
You got X coming in.
Yeah.
What do you
got?
So
I can pay a phone bill for 3 months. Mm-hmm. Okay, then what?
You can buy the phone running off Wi-Fi best you can, but I don't want to hear that when we get on the road. Yeah, I don't be asking for my hotspot.
So that's one of those things. Like I've really tried not to tie when you do something, you get a cash reward.
Yeah, no, definitely but not like a cash reward.
But like when you go out and like, hey, he helped you with some wood, right?
Yeah.
And that's, he did better for you. Like when I had him, hey, we're gonna go pick sticks up in the heat. It was terrible, but like helping someone else with another friend there that has, hey, he's doing it too. We're working through this together. Yeah. Then he's like, okay.
Yeah, and a lot of that too was, I think, Jaden's stout, and he's been picking up firewood for a hot minute, and the pieces were a little too big for either one of them to manage. So I was like, both of you work one piece at a time. So we're building a little bit of, work ethic in him, building a little bit of teamwork in both of them. And then you see your paycheck, so to speak, come in the reward of a $5 bill. And that's good enough for 9.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned like Lucas. He looked at the truck full of wood.
Yeah. You could see it on him too, and he was like, "Oh wow!" I was like, "Yeah, man, that's what we've been doing the past couple hours. That was the goal. We reached the goal. Ain't it cool? You're tired. You got a smash finger or two, and you kind of, here we are. Now it's done."
And to him,
That's
that
a
was
win.
his, that was his value of, hey, all this effort, and look what I did.
Mm-hmm. And then what caught him off guard too is like, because he did ask me at some point, he was like, "What are you gonna do with this?" "I'm gonna sell it." Then I kind of joked with him. I was like, "Appreciate the money, boys." But
You're speaking of the 10-to-1 pay ratio.
Yeah.
It's like over here with child labor.
That's it. Yeah, 100%.
I've seen some. Like
I'm an advocate. I advocate it. Yeah, for sure.
There's a restaurant in town whose parents, run their restaurant, and their kids have always been there. So you see them at a young age, like at 4 years old, just sitting there watching their tablet, and 5 years come by, and now they're like, hey, they're taking your order. You call the restaurant, and that little kid is now taking your order.
Yeah, they on the spot too, and they're good at it. Yeah, they're practiced.
There was an Asian restaurant in our town. It was one of the best ones in town. It closed down, but they had 2 kids that worked there their life.
Did their homework there when they were slow, and then they went to work when they got busy. Yeah.
So the owners, they were ready to retire, and then they were like, hey, I was hoping my kids would leave, because I was trying to get into the restaurant business. I was going to try to make a little chicken family restaurant or something, and our town was finally getting wet, and it's like, you used to have to drive like 30, 45 minutes north and south to be able to get a case of beer or bottle anything. Yeah. And so when our town went wet, the restaurants were trying to evaluate, how do I pull it in and get that revenue? And as an Asian restaurant, it's really tough to be hey, Chinese food and but they were looking at some of that, but the business had went down, and they tried to go. They were wanting to go a different route, and I was like, okay, I can open up a restaurant for you. And I had a full business model, laid it out to him, and he's like, well, I don't need that many people. It's like, yeah, you do. You need wait staff. 2 people in your restaurant may work for a buffet. Yeah, it's not going to work for a sit down restaurant. It's like, if you want to sell all this, we got to put this over here. We do this. Here's my kitchen schedule. And he started looking at all the money. He's like, oh no. Yeah. I was like, but that's what it's going to take.
It's like, screw this.
He's like, oh, I can cook, and I can pre-cook. I can deep fry the burgers, and I can do this, and I can do that. And I was like, yeah, buddy, that's not how this is going to work. Yeah. That's why you're closing your doors right now.
Yeah, you cutting quality on that.
Yeah.
On that note, little side route here is it's been a long time ago, and I'm not going to remember why or who said it, but they were talking about.
Before you go on, I'll say, you know what happened to the kids?
What happened?
They become doctors, a lawyer, and they didn't. They want nothing to do with the restaurant. So
and that contradicts what I'm about to say. Uh-oh. But it's like you grow up. In my experience, I always try to get away from construction. I think it's because that's what my dad did the most of, and whatnot. But if every generation, like back in the day, you had blacksmiths, right? And then if your daddy was a blacksmith, you worked in the blacksmith forge, and then you one day become a blacksmith, and you honed the skills that he hadn't mastered. And by the 5th, 6th, 7th generation, you're talking about you got some A1 blacksmiths, right? Well, nowadays it's like your kids try to do exact opposite of what you're doing.
Yeah, instead of owning a restaurant, hey, I'm going
to go be a doctor or something. And sometimes it works out, but it's like, what if we went back to that? If I would have listened to my dad more and become more of a tradesman, where would I be today? If I can raise my boys to do it, what wouldn't they be?
Well, see, kind of tying to this, like focusing on what matters, and like maybe they focus on saying, hey, look, I had to bust my ass. Like, these trade jobs are hard. They pay well. They're rewarding. Like, there's nothing more rewarding than framing a house and looking back and saying, man, I built that. Yeah. Hey, putting a roof on it, closing in.
Like, when we pulled up to this pasture 3 months ago, it was just pasture. And now there's a home in it. Yeah. No, that's what I enjoyed about it.
And then you see the looks on people's face when they come in. They're like, oh, my gosh, wow. Y'all did this in one day?
Yeah.
Yeah. We did all this in one day. But like, I think they're like, you look back and say, I don't want my kids having to do that.
I do, but you know, if you can make a living,
make it easier for them, right?
If you can make
them
easy,
soft,
yeah. But and then what's going to happen? Instead of having that 5th generation blacksmith, you're going to have that 5th generation bum. You know what I mean?
See, that's what worries me. Is like, am I providing too much and too much entitlement? And I'm gonna have a whole episode on entitlement probably one day, but. So you're kind of moving in at like measuring life and like what's that metric? You know, it's like how do you define success? Money, relationship, happiness. And so when you look at that success, you know what you look at as success, and then what you want your kids to value that at is different. You know, you try to pave a different road to the same outcome. Yeah, right. I want him to have an easier life than me, but still have my success plus more.
I tell my oldest boy, I'm like, I don't know what you're going to do, son, but you better figure it out because me and your mom was going to blow every dime that I make, you know.
You know, and speaking of diapers, you better hope that they like you enough when you get to your diaper having to get changed. You know, what do we start in diapers and end diapers, right?
Yeah, my daddy used to tell me all the time he'd haunt me if I ever put him in a nursing home. So hopefully we don't have to cross that bridge anytime soon,
right?
Sorry, Pop.
So you know, I may be pulling a little more personal out than you want to share, but you know, because I'm going to share it too. But like in your mind, like what metric would you put on what success looks like?
I don't know, man. I bought my home when I was 19 years old. And I know a lot of people that's my age or a little younger, a little older that's buying their first home. And it's a really milestone for them. So it was a burden for me. I bought my house at 19 and now it's kind of paying dividends. You know, here we are 10 years later. But it was I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't like everybody's telling me how good I'm doing and stuff. I'm like, I got a mortgage,
like you
dude.
Feeling like it.
No, I got
overwhelmed.
Dad, I got a mortgage. I'm responsible for this. I can't afford to live here. So I don't know. Assets and stuff doesn't really mean anything to me. It would be nice to have room, but you know, I drive a decent vehicle, better than some, probably better than most, but it's just a truck. You've seen my truck. I abuse my truck. It's not you know, I bought my truck to work. I don't know. I don't really care about material stuff. I could sleep under a rock, but it does make you feel good to have nice shoes on and clean pants. And so I don't know. It's a little hypocritical of me to sit here and say, but you know, money definitely plays a part in it. My wife will say money's not important. I'm like, well, let's go live in your love bubble.
It makes it easier.
Yeah. Well,
I kind of look at money. Money makes it easier.
Yeah, it definitely does.
When you don't have money, she's like the fights and the arguments are happening.
Love is the most important thing. I'm like, well, is love going to keep us dry when it rains? Is it? So I don't know.
You know, in a
it
religious
definitely has to
standpoint,
make it easier.
You know, you hear a lot of people in church and stuff. They talk about how like money is the root of all evil type thing.
Oh, I 100% agree with that too.
But what gets left out a lot of times is the love of money. The love of money is what, you know, and that's so true. No matter which way, religious or not, that strive to have money, and you know, like that metric of saying, hey, if I got $5 in my pocket, or if I got 50,000 in my pocket. You know, which one is going to, hell, it's going to feel really good to have 50 grand in your pocket, right? But like, it's that value of like, is that what defines what successful Cody or Chris looks like, right?
Yeah, man, I don't know what success is for me. I've always been a fly by the seat of my pants guy. Everybody was asking me what I was going to do for a living and what was my plan and stuff. I still don't really have a plan. I'm just winging it. And it's worked out this far, so I'm probably going to keep doing that. I don't know. I never had just a pure passion for anything. But with, you know, the question, if you won lottery, what would you do? I'd set myself up as far as, you know, living accommodations and stuff, invest a little bit. And the rest of it, man, I'm definitely not working. But rest of it, dude, I'm giving the shit away. I don't think you could
not work because you'd be so freaking bored.
Whoa, no, I can do hobbies, buddy. Right. I can put 40 hours on the water. But you know, I'd give it away, man. I don't know, just do nice stuff and change people's lives in that way, and that would be a good full-time hobby for me.
Yeah, I look at success as paying. Can I pay my bills?
Yeah,
right. You know, and you know, I kind of also seen no matter how much money you make. You could be bringing in $1,000 a day.
More you make, more you spend.
Or $100 a day. Your budget's going to be the budget.
Yep.
your power bill is going to be more because you got a bigger house, right? So it's all proportionate, right? Like no matter how much you make, you're still going to have the same problems.
Yeah, more you make, more you spend.
Relationships, man, like growing up, even when you're like dating a girl, what are some of those, you start asking those successful relationship questions, like how many kids you want to have, how big of a house, what's your vision of all this? And you start looking into that stuff, and it's like, man, I want to have a wife, I want to have 2 kids, boy and a girl. Like I have that, and now it's like, okay, now that you have it, now what? So like I've really never looked past saying, what does a successful family look like? When you dig into what is is it not arguing? Well, hell, if you can't argue,
where you at? Yeah.
That's unhealthy.
Yeah.
You've got to be able. That's something I was reading. You've got to be able to take criticism, and that's going to be a whole nother episode. But like to be able to like say, we've got to be able to be honest with one another. You
got to communicate, even in friendships and relationships aside. If something don't go right, what do you value your friendship at? Am I just going to get pissed off at you and then not talk to you no more? Or I'm going to be like, hey, Cody, man, this is you.
Right. So like my value, like where I value successful relationships is me being able to be open and honest to be able to say, hey, man, I don't like the way your vape smells, and you not get pissed about it. Yeah. Or me be able to say, dude, I don't really like that outfit on you. Think about this. How many times have you had your wife spend an hour doing whatever the hell they do in the bathroom for an hour to 2 hours before you go somewhere, just to walk out and be like,
you're going to set me up with this one, huh?
Well, it's like, think about it. Like, what do you think? You know what I mean? You have 2 options. It's like playing a video game. Option A, tell the truth. Option B, tell her what she wants to hear.
You keep
make her
digging
feel
your
good.
hole over there. Yeah, you dig and dig.
But I look at a successful relationship as being, if I can be honest with you, I may hurt your feelings, but you know what? That's your problem to figure out how your feelings get fixed. But the fact that I can be honest with you, that's success.
Yeah, because last thing you want to do is be in a relationship, friendship, relationship, whatever, somebody's going to lie to you all the time.
Have to be fake. Oh, man. Hey, that was great. Hey, like that. Hey, that your podcast, man. That's great. Like in my head,
it's great. If you
I
don't
want you to be honest with me.
If you don't like it, A, don't listen. But B, if you care enough about me to help me improve on it, tell me what you think I did wrong.
Right. I've had some people say, I've enjoyed it, and it may be because they know us. But I've also had some people be like, "Hey, can I give you some advice?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah!" And he gave it to me, and I think I appreciate that just as much or equal to someone saying, "Hey, I really enjoyed it. I liked what I heard." Because now they're giving me honest feedback, and honest feedback tells me, hey, that's a successful. We may not talk all the time. We may not see each other all the time.
Yeah. I've got friends I haven't talked to in years, and every now and then, for whatever reason, if the conversation does strike up, it's like we never skipped a lick. And that's what you're after, dude. You're after genuine people, because by the time you have a couple kids, and which I know I ain't quite in my 30s yet, but once you start doing the 9 to 5 and life gets boring, like it's supposed to be. Life's boring, and sometimes it sucks, but that's all right. And when you start doing that, you don't have time for those fake kind of interactions.
I've got several friends I feel like that I don't talk to them that much, and we're okay with. We got life, we got kids, we got jobs, we got things going on.
Me and my dad have that relationship. We've always had that. If you need me, I'm here. If you don't hear from me, everything's good.
Right.
Yeah, and we might go. I mean, especially back in the day, not so much now that we have kids, but I mean, it wasn't up for us to go 2, 3, 4 months, 6 months, and not say a word, and then see each other and be like, "Huh, you want to grab a beer?"
Yeah, and like to me, a successful friendship, that's a metric I'm okay with. Now, if my spouse and I didn't talk for 3 months, that's a different
and you're
story.
living under the same roof too, so that is a different category.
My kids. How many times your kids not talk to you? Like, there's been. Like, you just come in, don't even say anything, don't say bye.
I don't let that fly. You walk past me with your backpack off the school bus and you don't say, hey, how you doing? No, but you got to acknowledge. That's just, you don't walk past somebody and make eye contact with somebody at the gas station and not at least nod your head or be like, how you doing, bub? Little interactions like that, that's what you got to do.
So I've hit on money, hit on relationships. What about happiness, man? How do you define happiness?
I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel it, sometimes I don't. And when I don't, I try to be aware that it's just a mindset. You can be happy in a box. You can be happy in a mansion. It don't matter. It's up to you to make happiness. I'm learning that more and more.
I kind of joke about this, but they say like the difference between man and woman. I'm not going through that debate on genetics and all that stuff, but like they say there's a mindset with a man. Like men are compartmentalized, right? We can walk in one room, walk out into another room. You could picture a man's brain like a hallway. You got rooms on both sides.
On track.
All right, we can go in. Hey, we're thinking about football. We come out. Now we're thinking about how do I fix the carburetor. We walk out of that. Now we're focused on my kid just walked out of the house without saying bye to me. You walk out of that room into a different one. You look at a woman, they're like a ball of yarn. They wind up and like they multitask and they hold all these emotions and it just builds, right? And then sometimes that just unwinds and that's when all hell breaks loose. But when you jump over in a man's mind, like think about how often you get frustrated or mad.
And then it's gone in 10,
and
15
like
minutes.
she's mad and it's like all day. But when you get mad, it's like you can just walk out of that room and go into a different room and you're fine. And there's a secret room. I don't know if you know this or not, but
where's the secret room?
On each of these hallways on both sides, there's a secret door that goes into a room called horniness. You can go in any mindset as a man, and there's a trap door on that back side of the room that you walk into. Yep. And it's like she's pissed off, and you're freaking. I'm ready to go.
No, man, it's a mindset though. Yeah. Older I've gotten, the more I'm realizing it's like, when I'm going down the interstate or whatever and I think I'm having a bad day, sometimes I can be like, it's 75 degrees. I got the window down, the song's kicking, bills are paid. Old lady's waiting on me at home. She's going to cook. It's all right. Calm down. What are you mad about? Why are you even upset?
Right. Does that, I talk about expectations. But like comparing your life to an unrealistic expectation. So when you start digging into like how we compare ourselves, right? And it's like social media is covered in it, as a teenager, you're having beauty pageants trying to say, am I prettier? Am I the prettiest one, right? You're in sports, you're trying to say, am I the fastest? You get out of the high school side of things, you start getting into life. And then it's like, okay,
nothing matters anymore.
It's like, then people are like, what's that metric, right? Who's got the right, is it your car? Like I know people who their goal in life is to have like the most expensive car.
Yeah.
And
I've got a friend like that, man, dude. One of his goals is to buy and own a Tesla. And I love him to death. We were to have him on. You know him, our friend Josh, but I don't know. I don't know if I've ever told you, Josh, that I just can't get behind that goal, brother. I'm happy for you, though, man. I hope you get your Tesla.
My father-in-law was telling me today, and this is a warning for those that don't know this, but, there's a lot of us getting e-vehicles. I work in automotive, so I see a lot of automotive stuff, and I start, so I know a few things about them, but, you think about some of the older generations who, walk out of picture this, he's walking out of the plant he works in, and walks by this guy's electric car. Man, what the heck? These, this, and then maybe drop a funny name to call him, and start just bad mouthing the whole. Who wants an electric car? This is stupid. Blah blah blah. If you next day he comes in, and his buddy shows him his phone and say, hey, why you got to talk smack about my car? Because it's recording you as you sit there. They've got like a surround camera. And they're like,
I don't know, man. I feel like they're overcomplicated. I don't have any goals of getting one by any means.
I do want to try one just to see how fast the acceleration is.
I respect the electric motors, and I can understand from my time in previous jobs of what electric motors' capabilities are.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 100 or nothing. I mean, they don't need no wind up. It's gone, or they're cool. In that aspect of them, I like them. Not just every other aspect's garbage, in my opinion.
I'm just sitting there trying to picture if I had an electric car, what kind of argument would I have if you were making fun of me? I'd be like, hey, do you still plug your drill up to the wall?
Nope.
Battery powered, man.
Yeah, they are. They're battery powered, and it's a lot more convenient. It's not convenient when you're stuck in the middle of nowhere with no power, though. Yeah.
But no, I want you to think about something. So, how many people get unhappy in life because of their expectations?
I feel like we're probably living in such a depressing time. I don't necessarily think it's expectations. Well, no, it is. No, I'm wrong. Let me change it on the fly. it's a direct result of expectations because we're all so connected. And like when we do our podcast, and we don't necessarily come in here and dust the table off before we start our podcast, but how many of these people do you see like baking videos? You know, I see all these baking videos. I see these people as I'm a mom of 4 and this and that. And I'm like, what? How? Well, look at your kitchen. You ain't no normal mama. Yeah, you ain't
got a whole studio out back.
And then my mama of 2 sitting there cooking cupcakes or whatever. And I'm not necessarily saying she does this, but she sees all these videos, all these recipes, and they got the best KitchenAid in there, and they got the best of this, and everything's just pristine. And I'm sitting there thinking, bullshit. No, it's not. You're a lie. You are a lie. Just pan the camera around. Let me see the toys really on the floor. Yeah, let me see that banana that's been sitting there since yesterday. Yeah, no, everybody ain't that high functioning person.
And that kind of goes in the topic a little bit, right? It's like, you know, their goal, and this is where I struggle because I'm like, man, I got to have the best this and the best that sometimes. But it's like I can have the best everything, and you know, even in like sports, like, hey, if you get your kid a good bat.
Yeah, it don't change their batting average.
But you know, you look at that. It's like, hey, if I get the best kitchen, am I gonna make the best videos?
Yeah.
You know, and we do that in life so much, right? Like, hey, I've got to have the biggest house. You know, am I gonna have more friends if I have a pool in the backyard? I'm gonna go drop $80,000. I'm gonna go refinance and take a second mortgage out on the house to put this badass pool.
Yeah, you might have more friends, but how many of them is gonna help you pay for that? Yeah, I mean, how many is going to split that cost up with you?
Then the next thing, you know, hey, I can get 20 people over here to go swim in the party, right?
Yeah.
But hey, my wife's car breaks down, her tire's flat.
Yeah, you think now I can't afford a spare.
No, well, no, is any of them going to show up to help change it?
Oh yeah, no, that's my big thing, man. And it's who's going to help you pay for it? Who's going to call whenever you're having a bad time at 11 o'clock in the morning? I've gotten buddies out of DUIs, man. You know, he pull over this and that, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to jail." And I'm like, "Ask him if I can come get you." He got lucky, loaded the wife and the one kid up at the time, and we went and got him. And you know, that's the people I need. I don't need the guy that likes my pool.
Yeah, that's what
I need the guy that's going to help me clean it.
So you know, sometimes I kind of regret what I've got myself into, if that makes sense, with having what I have sometimes. Because now I have to work harder to keep it, right? Yeah. And so when I say that, it's like, you know, it would be cool if I can just go camping with my kid next week, right? And no worries. Like I don't have to stay on my phone checking emails, making phone calls, and you know, and that's why I look at people, and there's people out there that live on $25,000 a year that are 10 times happier than those who are bringing in $1 million, if not more happy, right? You know, it's money doesn't equal success, and you know what's fulfilling in life. And it's like, I think sometimes we jump so fast, and we spend like these years of having kids. Like there's so many people with kids like me who work all the time. You work all the time, right? Like you put 40 hours to 50 hours, 60 hours a week, right? How many hours we spend with our kids?
Yeah,
and between the ages of like 0 and 15. Yeah. Like that's when we get the most time with them, and from their age of 15 to 100, whatever that lifespan is,
it's less and less.
There's 85 years of we might see them on a holiday. 85 years we might see them on a holiday. There's 15
if you're lucky.
15, and how many summer vacations can you spend with them that they can talk to you and want to be around you? You can count on 2 hands. All right, our kid's 9, right?
Yep.
This is how many summer vacations we might have. 7, maybe 6.
If we're lucky.
That they're going to spend with us.
Yeah.
You know, how much time have we focused on saying these 6 summers, are we going to do something better in 6 summers? Or are we going to say, but Job, I'm going to go bust my ass all summer for you. I'm going to take a week off, a week. So if you think about it, and it sounds depressing, but I'm almost trying to be motivating. To make a point here. 6 weeks, Chris. 6. With our kids. 6 more weeks. How fast is 6 weeks? That's a little over a month.
Yeah.
That's all the time that you're going to take with them over the summer, because we focus so damn much on busting our ass for a boss who would put their freaking, my job will be posted before my freaking funeral is over with.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm kind of preaching here to say, are we really focusing on what matters in our life?
Mm-hmm.
Are we sidetracked because we're trying to keep up with the Joneses?
Yeah, I try to keep it with the Joneses to an extent, but I will say that working for that place or doing those things where you know you're replaceable and this and that, that's a big impact personally for me because I love
But every person on any company is replaceable.
for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Digging, even ditch diggers. Hey, if a guy ain't showing up to dig a ditch, I got to find somebody else, right?
But just knowing that you're valued at your job, and which I think I am, love my place of work. So that was a huge stress relief for me whenever I swapped a few years ago, and so
you're
cool
lining
thing.
up. Hey, if I'm going to go give the people I work for more time than my family,
I used to.
It's got to be valuable for me, right? It's got to line up to my metrics.
It sounds like it's just made up, man. But you can ask the wife. I used to pray for it. I was like, man, if I could just find that one guy, I'd just bust my butt for him, And I think I found it, and I'm gonna keep doing that. But no, the success and stuff, like especially at my age with my kids, is I feel like I'm busting my butt and I'm gonna miss that point, but I'll be more help to them when they are grown. So, you're thinking about tomorrow, but you're missing out on, or you're thinking about next week and you're missing out on tomorrow. And that's, I don't know, sacrifices, man. What you gonna be there for these next 10 years or 5-10 years and not have any help as far as when they actually need it? Because me personally, buying my house at 19, I didn't have anybody help me with the down payment and do all this and that. That would have been really cool. You know what I mean? So if my boys get up in there, I can guide them this way, not necessarily give them a handout, but give them a little bit more of the financial help instead of, I can help you build this, but I can't help you buy the material to do it,
Which keeps getting more expensive.
Very. It would be cool to do that, but at the same time, I wouldn't appreciate what I have the way I do if my daddy would have bought it for me.
Right. And I think sometimes we got to look at this. Like some of us, like I went fish, I go fish and I've got a cheaper boat and I see all these really nice boats and, but at the end of the day, we're catching the same fish.
That's it. Yeah. Fishing in the same water, man.
I pull up and fish around a dock and this guy's got his house for sale and I pull it up. It's $2.5 million.
On that note, it's about that wonderful time of year to be throwing some top water stuff.
It is. You have to have an episode on the water, man.
Yeah, no, I would like that. Yeah, it's about to get going, as they say.
But I look at that guy's house with a $2.5 million property for sale, and I talked to him. Seemed like a nice guy. Probably worked his ass off to get there, I'm sure. But he falls asleep on his bed just as much as I do mine, and you do yours.
Yeah, dude.
Everybody keeps the rain off your face.
Yeah, a good saying is everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. Mm-hmm. There ain't nobody jumping into them in the morning.
So again, I guess I'm almost sounding like I'm preaching this episode, but man, it's just like a lot of self-reflection of saying, hey, am I really putting the time in to appreciate what I do have? And am I measuring what I have the wrong way that I've lost focus? I'm upset. People get upset because they're looking. I don't have this, and I don't have this. Hey, I don't have a 4,000 square foot house, or I don't have a studio that I can put 6 people in, or you know what I mean. And I forget to say, but I got what I have. I can do what I'm doing now and still do what we're doing. My kids are loved. They know they feel loved. They're in a house. They're protected. And it's like I've got to refocus what my thought on that expectation of being where I wanted to be or where I thought I should be to where I really am and appreciate what I have and rechange that mindset.
Just really feel like as long as you're happy in what you're doing at that moment, then you're doing it right. Never thought I'd be doing a podcast, but I enjoy doing this and I'm pretty happy right now. So I must be doing something right. And I don't know. You just got to live in the moment. It's so cliche, but you really do. Hey, man, is what I'm doing right now sucks? Yeah, but it'll be over here in a minute, and then I'll get on the road, and I'll go do something that's fun. I'll listen to a good song. Something. It's a mindset. You got to change it.
So not going into too far into left field, no pun intended, I want to talk about winning, how winning isn't everything, and how it kind of ties to youth sports a little bit, because we're both growing up in youth sports, and I'm not going to pull our kids into it too deep because I think they're on different spectrums of capabilities and how they do and what they do. But it's like, man, looking through some of this, you hear so much drama in youth sports, and it's changing so much, and how parents are a big part of that. And this is gonna be a touchy subject, and so I'm gonna stay away from a lot of it. But I want to look at one thing. It's like there's a lot of experts saying that our kids need to learn how to lose.
I agree.
And some of the parents, when you go to these games, like I've seen it, like both in baseball and soccer and football, it's like they look at this game of a youth sports, which in reality of life may not really equate to nothing, is jack squat. But you go tell a parent who's dropped thousands of dollars into a sport, or their kids, who's going every night to practice and into some kind of training camp, that's really investing, that's their hobby, right? Like it's their way of life. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, right? That's if the kids are loving it and that's how you're spending your time together, you look back and
if
that's
they're
beautiful.
loving it,
and you're developing them. I'm by no means is that bad. But what we see so many times is like, I had a kid, and I felt bad for him. He didn't really play. We're talking like 6-7 years old. Hand and eye coordination still developing at this point. And he didn't hit the ball, or he struck out in a game, and it's like he got punished for it. And I don't know if you ever watched much Coach Ball Game, but like I love the guy's philosophy on things of how, as a parent, we just need to sit back, win or lose on the field, and at the end of the day, be like, "Hey, man, I'm clapping for you. I'm proud of you, and I love you."
Yeah.
I loved watching you. As a parent, we've got to say, "Hey, man, I loved watching you play this sport."
Yeah. And my kid playing sports has ruined all other sports for me. Completely ruined it. I used to be a diehard college football fan. I could care less. Used to love watching basketball. I could care if it's not the team that my kid's playing on. I just don't have any interest in it. But I probably do paint if a parent didn't know me, I'm up there. I'm showing my
your horse.
tail.
Your horse
I
is in the
am.
game.
Yeah, dude. I'm about it, but I'm cheering him on. My biggest thing that I preach to my boy is you strive for perfection in everything you do.
I don't feel like there's anything wrong with cheering on a team or cheering on a kid. Like I don't feel like it's
But when
bad.
you get whooped, here I'm gonna tell you, don't come off the court crying. You suck that up, and then there's a time to let all those emotions out. But that's part of being a good sport. You do all that. You learn more about life in sports than anything that pertains to the sport, in my opinion. But no, what I'm hammering into him is you want to be perfect. You want to win everything. Perfection is the goal. But the reality of it is you have to go for that, but just understand that you're never going to be perfect. You're going to lose some. You're going to miss some shots. You're going to get strikes. You're going to miss that tackle. You're going to, screw up and stuff. But that doesn't change the goal. Perfection is always the goal, not just in sports.
It's a path to get there, right?
Yeah, no, you got to put the work in, man. You want to be perfect. You never want to fumble the ball. That's never a want, but it's going to happen, so understand that.
Do you feel like that puts fear of failure? We talk about failure in life. I'm tying this to kids' sports, right?
You need a little fear of it.
Our kid fumbling a football equates to you getting a foreclosure on your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a 9-year-old mind.
Maybe so, yeah. That's a little drastic way of thinking, but I see your point.
I'm gonna look in the stands and my parents are gonna be so disappointed in me. Oh, do you think I'm gonna be able to play my video game when I get home? Do you think I'm still gonna be able to go get ice cream after the game, like he said?
Yeah.
And I fumbled the football. I didn't get a touchdown, Dad. I fumbled today.
Yeah. And that's a delicate situation and deep thinking on that. But look, if you fumble the football, it depends. Was the deal is if you didn't fumble the football, you got ice cream? Because that's different. You know what I mean? And you did, so now the deal's off. But
that's how you define what is losing, right?
Yeah.
So is it I look at Lucas and I've always told him, I said, buddy, I don't care what the outcome of whatever is. What I care about is the effort you put into it.
That's the biggest point.
Right? Hey, if you go out there and you gave it 110%, but hey, there was a bad call. Like we had So my kid may not be the most athletic kid, right? He's not hitting home runs over the fence. He's not, kicking. He's not shooting a basketball from half court and sinking it, right? Like that's not my kid right now.
Mm-hmm.
But when so I say that, like he's not scored a lot in soccer, and we were in a really tight game in a playoff game.
Oh, the forwarding thing.
Yeah, we're like my son's smart. Like he understands the rules really well compared to most 8-year-old, 9-year-old. But he went up, got a pass, and he shot the goal, and he made a goal that would get the team the goal they needed to move into the championship game.
And it got taken away from him.
I was on the sideline. I'm coaching. I was almost in tears of excitement when I looked over and seen his face and like that. Oh, it was like it's like shooting that. Like I was up in the bar this weekend in Michigan at a really nice brewery, and the Michigan State game's on, and this guy shoots it from like 10 feet on the right outside the opposite court 3-point line, in between the 3-point line and half court on the other side of the court. The guy throws it up as the buzzer goes off, and he strips it. And like the whole bar is like, like that was my moment of like, that experience was my moment on a soccer field. So like, I am kind of like, hey, this is like a World Cup for me.
Yeah. When Jaden ran his first touchdown, I was booking it down the sideline with him. I was like, go, 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 go.
And it's so exciting because what you see is all that effort that you've put into it. All the effort they've put into it start coming together. And like to see his face and his teammates' excitement, like, dude, that was a cherished moment. And then the referee is like, offsides.
Strip that.
And everyone, even the people from the other team, is upset about it. And like, and
that's a great moment for him though, and for you.
And it has been a teaching moment because I was like, buddy, we lost the game. And he's like, well, that stinking ref. I was like, no, buddy. No. You had
shit happens.
55 other minutes to score a goal.
Yeah.
You had 55 other minutes to do what needed to be done. You've had a whole season to get better. You've had a whole season to do a better job than the other team.
Yeah.
They did a better job than you. You lost the game as a team, not individuals, as a team, because you didn't do what you needed to do the entire time.
And I will say that punishment on mistakes is never acceptable. But punishment on lack of effort is 100%. 100% justified.
I do show disappointment when I see the lack of effort and the motivation.
It's not okay. You're down 20 and you quit third quarter. Why?
You give up, right? And that's what's important. It's not
why
to me,
you just don't quit.
And a lot of people are like, you win or lose, winning at all costs. That type of no. But like so like I don't know.
Not at all cost as far as, your moral obligations and stuff, but where's your moral obligations on? Are you going to do your best to win at all cost? Are you going to make that tackle? Are you going to, when your legs are burning and I don't want to run, are you going to run anyway? You know? What are you going to do?
You know what I see a lack of in youth sports?
Character building.
Well, no, it's when I look at these tight games, and I've played with this, so I've got some data to back up what would happen. But you remember we were playing, I think it's Hansville, and we got our butts handed to us by a team that we should have blew
what sport
out the
are we
water.
Talking about?
Baseball.
Okay.
So last season, the kids were just out of it, and
because we was stroking it. And then
all of a sudden it just crashed.
Yeah. We had a mid-season slump bad.
And we were getting our butts handed to us by teams that had never won a game. And we were winning 90% of our games.
Why? And the answer, in my opinion, was because we were out there half-assing everything.
And I look over and I see these other kids, dude, their night was golden.
Oh, yeah.
And I felt good for them. Yeah, they got the win.
Yeah, they earned it. Though. Yeah.
And I was disappointed in our kids, but instead of me going over there and saying, "Hey guys, you suck, we worked our asses off, you're letting each other down, shame on you." Hey guys, my speech, I think I sat down on a knee, I got eye to eye with them, and I'm like, "Hey, I love you guys. I love playing baseball with you guys." I said, "But I don't like playing baseball where I look around and you guys are mad. You're getting mad at each other, and and hey, and you heard you scream at this guy because he made a bad throw. You know what I mean? Like that's not fun. And it's not about just going out there and having fun, but you got to go out there and enjoy what you're doing, right? Just as much you talk about, hey, I've got to enjoy my job. Right now, our kids' job is to go have fun playing the game or sport that they love playing. And we started loosening up a little bit. I said, hey, I'm going to dance like a chicken.
No. And didn't we win the next game too?
We blew. It changed.
Yeah.
We started having fun again. And I'm not trying to say...
It rests my case on the mindset thing.
Right. It's not about going out there and having fun, right? There's no fun in getting your ass kicked.
No.
There's no fun in losing.
No. But it makes winning a hell of a lot more fun whenever you've experienced getting your tail handed to you a few times.
Right.
It makes it better. Can't have light without dark.
So you get out there and it's like once you change the mindset and attitude of saying what's my goal of coming out here and like let's be realistic. Hey, we may win, we may lose, but at the end of the day, I'm still gonna love you as you're my kids. I still love you guys. Yeah. I want to have fun. Like I don't want to go lose and you guys be miserable and all pissy. I want to lose and be like, dude, like we almost had that. Like we busted it. Hey, dude, that was a great hit, dude. Did you see that catch? Hey, I had a cool throw, dude. Like the excitement of the game, that's what's important for me. So a lot of people were like, I've heard some comments made where it's like, oh, he's just there to have fun. No, I'm there to have excitement in the sport. I'm there to see the kids being like, because in the end of the day, most of our kids, they don't give a fuck about winning or losing.
I think he's just here to have fun is setting your child up for failure. That's what I think. And okay, that's what you're just here to have fun, and this contradicting you a little bit. Well, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, Jimmy. We're just here to have fun. Well, now Jimmy don't have to try hard because
that's totally different. I didn't say you don't have to have effort.
Well, but my point being is winning ain't everything. But Jimmy, son, we're not setting a standard and expectations and emotions and all that. We're not setting a standard for you to come out here and have fun. That is the goal, and I want you to do that. But understand, busting your butt to achieve the goal and getting the goal, that's the fun part. The path to it is the fun part. You got to enjoy the road to that. Don't set him up and get his glove on and say, yeah, okay, go have fun. It's okay. It's not okay if you go out there and catch bugs in the outfield.
Chasing butterflies.
Yeah. Jimmy, tighten up, son. Yeah, you're having a great time, and all your other players are mad because you are getting smoked, you know.
I would prefer a kid, I look at attitude a lot. Like, I would rather have a kid who is like decent and has a great attitude than I would a kid who is an all-star. And it's almost like I'm doing a would you rather now, but then I would have a kid with an all-star with a shitty attitude that brings my team down.
Yeah. And the bringing the team down thing too, man, because let's say you got two athletes who've got the drive, not even athletes, you got two kids who just want to get out there and just bust them in the mouth. And then you got that one kid who just out there to have fun. And then these two are like, what the hell am I doing this for? And now you're holding them back. And it's a team thing, dude. One bad apple can ruin a bunch. And if you ain't willing to put the work in, well, then, if I can piggyback off of you, it's communism is what it is. Is why the hell do I have to do it? I'm going to get mine anyway.
Yeah,
and then it snowballs.
Some kids be like, I shouldn't be on this team. I'm too good for this team. Like stuff like that. Oh, that pisses me off.
Yeah. Why don't you go over there and talk to Jimmy on your time? If Jimmy's attitude is bothering you so bad, why don't you come to the coach about it? Go lead your team if you're the all-star. Yeah.
But, so I think that's where it's like losing. I want losing to be a reminder of effort needed. So we lost that playoff game. Lucas, it's the rest. Nobody. It's you. Like, you got to take ownership of what you did or did not do. But I want you to be able to take it to next year and be like, I don't want to play because we're not going to win. To be, I've got to go out there and go kick the ball in the net more. I've got to go out there and try to get better at my footwork. I've got to go get better at passing the ball to my teammates. I've also got to get better at telling my teammates, hey, every time, like, it can't be the coach being like, hey, you're a ball hog. No, I got to be like, hey, look, every time you hog the ball, you lose it. Use your team.
Don't make an excuse.
Let's work together, right? Like, be able to start being a leader. I want him to be a leader on a team. I don't care if he's the best. I don't want him to be the worst. But I don't care that if he's the best, as long as his attitude's positive. He's a leader.
Yeah.
And puts 110% into it.
Yeah. If I get that effort out of it, man, I'm good. It don't matter.
You know, and then
just need the effort.
You know, and the other hard part, and it really depends on when you get into certain, like, there's certain travel ball teams, you know, like in baseball, like you'll see the travel ball teams, like there's like 12 kids who, like, when they wake up, there's a baseball in their hand.
Yep.
When they go to bed, they're thinking about, how do I perfect this play better, right? Like, they're not thinking about, like, what Fortnite pack I'm going to get, you know, the new season's coming out. They're not thinking about, like, do I like applesauce with a spoon or a fork?
And that's another little, just a short little thing that I try to preach into my boy, and I haven't been preaching it lately, but I'm making it a point today to start more, is I've told him, because he's got dreams about athletics, like probably most 9-year-old athletes do. And whether they happen or not, that's fine. But everybody needs a dream, and you got to chase them. And then you fail, you win, whatever, and then you change your goals and aspirations. That's fine and dandy. But I tell him, or used to tell him all the time, millions of people are born good. People was born good every day at all kinds of stuff. There's never been one person that's just naturally born great. Mm-hmm. Michael Jordan didn't get good just being born, or didn't get great being born. You know, he was probably good. But it was those 100 free throws every afternoon. It was those, you know, it was all that work outside of the work.
When you listen to some of those documentaries, it's how many shots did I miss, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, I was 17 for 20. Mm-hmm. He didn't think about the 17. He thought about the 3. Mm-hmm. I missed 3 shots. Yeah. I missed 3 shots. You know what the score of the game could have been? No. 101 to 102.
You have to really
one of those shots could have made the difference.
You have to be obsessed with it.
You got to be like with losing. You got to understand why you lost. Addicted to the loss. Yes. Focus on the loss.
It has to bother you. And there's one thing with my boy is, like, when he loses a game or whatever, and it doesn't necessarily. It bothers me a little bit. He says, "Oh, well, it's fine. I had fun." I'm like, "Yeah, but you ain't even sweating. I'm glad it was fun for you." You know what I mean? What if you would have sweated a little bit? What if you'd have put a little extra effort in?
You know, one of the points I'd made a note of here is, you know, let's be real. You know, half of these kids are there for the snacks, right? Like, think about, like, I was in the
and the camaraderie and hanging out with the buddy from math class. Yeah,
you know, I was really grateful to be able to help coach 1 year of youth football. Mm-hmm. I probably will never be invited back, but. My football is not for my boy. Mm-hmm. But at the end, when we lost that playoff game, there was like 3 or 4 kids that were just, you know, visibly upset. Their tears coming out their eye. Hey, buddy, and the way that they talked to one another, like, man, there was one little boy, you know what I'm talking about, was like, he's upset, and he's like, "We're gonna get it next year. We're gonna get there next year," and we did.
Yeah.
And or at least you guys did. I didn't. We played soccer instead of football.
No, we did make it. We made it to the finals.
You went farther.
Yeah, we went one further. Yeah.
But like he had that emotion. And then you had like the other 2/3 of the team who were like, "I wonder if Mommy's going to get me a pizza. I wonder if we're going to have pepperoni."
Yeah.
You know, and it's like after the game, they were more like, some of those kids were more worried about if they could flip their water bottle and make it land.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the you know what I mean, like.
And that's what makes everything great, dude. It's because they're going to grow up and they're still going to have similar personalities, or vice versa. You got to have the people that want to get the pizza after the loss and not give a shit. You got to have those. And then you got to have the ones that care and that eats them up.
So when you were a kid, what all sports did you play?
Played a little bit of basketball and very, very little bit of football. That was it.
Did you have any winning seasons?
Yeah, and in youth sports and basketball, yeah, we had a couple, but we had one really bad losing season too.
Yeah. Do you remember the losing season? What was your best record? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember, but I remember we got our ass whooped a lot.
So the ass whooping's what really sticks around.
Yeah.
So I was going through when my dad passed away, and I got some stuff out of the house, and I started going through my memory box, and I found a picture of a team that I remember, and I don't remember our record, but I remember we got one of those trophies. Because my sister, she did a lot in beauty pageants, so she'd get like 6 foot tall trophies.
Mm-hmm.
But I got my biggest trophy was one that had 2 posts on it. Then it had the tier in the middle. And then it had another big post.
Oh, it was a nice trophy.
And then it had the bat. Like, it was this tall. Like, I was so proud of that. Maybe the 98 season.
Yeah, that was like the Stanley Cup.
And I remember that season because I played with, there's some kids from Holly Pond. There were some kids from Weimont. And, you know, like, I'm in Fairview. And it's like, I remember all of these different teammates that came from different schools. And I was like, looking back at it now, it's like, okay, we had a stacked team. I don't remember what our record was, but I remember we won some games. Mm-hmm. And I just remember how cool the trophy was, and it said first. And, you know, I thought we all got first place trophies, right? We handed trophies out in that age.
Yeah.
I found a picture in my scrapbook. We were county champs, undefeated.
Dang.
I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know, 30 years later, I'm looking back at that, and I'm just now realizing I was a county champ, undefeated, on a team. Now, I wasn't the greatest. I was fat, man. I started gaining weight, look like I do now. I was slow. And it's like, man, if I could go back and change that, I would. If I knew now what I knew now,
you'd have put a lot more effort in.
So much more effort into it.
I know, yeah.
But I was part of a winning team. And you know what? I never remember that. Mm-hmm. I remember the people. Mm-hmm. I remember the trophy. And I remember the fun that we had at the picnic afterwards, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, sometimes I have to remind myself, and then let's be honest, out of our school, out of our grade, we may, if we're just super, super fortunate to have maybe your kid or my kid, I don't know, because they change so much to high school. Mm-hmm. One of them that may go to a Division I, maybe go pro. Yeah. It happens.
Snowball chance in hell. But, yeah. No.
But the reality is 99.98% of those kids, they're going to be either working at a fast food restaurant, working at a plant, working on the side of the road, working in an office building.
Normal jobs.
You know, moving out of town, working for somewhere bigger. One of them may be a doctor, but high likelihood none of them are going to be a pro athlete.
Nope, and that's where my boys' dreams are set, and by all means, I'm not going to crush your dreams.
So, does that mean we need to have better snacks?
Not necessarily. I don't think so. No, you get what you get on the snacks, but
we're gonna change youth sports. So we're just gonna set up one hell of a fucking snowbiz truck.
Yeah.
Hey, win or lose, boys.
Yeah,
win or lose, boys. We're gonna freaking have a snow cone.
No, man.
If you win the game, you get in line first. And those kids would fucking bust your ass if you said, "Hey, I get first in line to get a snow cone."
Dream of the D1 scholarship. Set that perfect expectation, and if you end up with a D3, I'm calling that a W. That's a win, dude. You get 4 years of paid school to go play a sport and get a free education and have a fun time doing it. And now you're probably going to get thrown a little bit because of the name and likeness thing. So absolutely, dude, chase that dream. And even if you're great at sports and you get scholarships and you end up getting an academic, chase that dream too.
Well, you know, I want to say, if you haven't looked at Coach Ballgame, I want you to look at his stuff. Parents, I love how he makes fun of parents.
Yeah. I'm probably one of the stereotypes that he's making fun of. Yeah.
But he has sent me a reminder. I say watching his videos have gave me a reminder on how to be a parent at a sporting event, and how what we do today can influence our kids' mind and how they develop and change into teenage years to adulthood, or enjoy or love the game. Like I see too many parents destroy the game. The love of the game, like baseball is slow and boring, so it's hard for kids to love it. But it's even more hard for them to love it when their dad or their mom reminds them how much they fail.
Yeah, harping on them all the time.
Hey, you struck out. You know what? I don't see your ass standing out there getting a ball thrown at you that's probably going to hit at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and the kids might you flip it a little bit, but like I say that I'm trying to wrap up, but our kids are trying to be there to enjoy the game. We got to make sure they love it. And they've got to learn how to lose.
Yeah. Easy on the mistakes, hard on the effort.
Not to get beat when they get out, either mentally or physically. Like, you don't have to beat a kid to tear them down and say, I don't want to go play next year, Dad. Why? Well, because I don't like the way it feels when we lose a game. Because you're going to lose games.
For sure.
But what you want is when they lose that game, they say, hey, Dad, will you go throw with me? I missed first base. I want to work on that throw. I want to make you proud.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to make my team proud. I want to feel good, and I don't want to let my team down. And I want to drive to be success. I want to drive to be excellent.
Yeah. And want to try to be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's the word I was trying to use. I was like before I had the whiskey and the wine. I was like, what was that word?
Yeah.
So,
strive for perfection. Understand you'll never be perfect.
So, man, I've got to get some better would you rather questions. But
I got mine. I got mine down.
Yeah.
You want to start it off?
I'll start it off. So going with little music to fill the noise. Would you rather have $1 million, fucking rich,
$1 million.
right? Be miserable, broke, or truly happy?
$1 million.
Would you?
Yeah. And because I can have $1 million and blow it all and realize that it don't make me happy, and then I can go find out how to be happy. I've never had $1 million. It might do the trick.
If I had $1 million, I'd have some hookers.
No, yeah.
But you know what? There's something about having a wife and kids that you love that a hooker will never fill.
No, fair point. Fair point. They say you don't pay them for that. You just pay them to leave.
All right. Throw one at me.
Number 2, would you rather have to answer text immediately or never be able to reply?
You know what? I hate people that can't fucking reply.
Yeah, me too. I'm quick on the response. I answer my stuff quick.
I always feel guilty whenever it's like, hey, I sent you a message and you didn't reply, or vice versa. Like I get busy. Oh, I feel bad.
Yeah.
I apologize for those that I've ignored by accident.
It is.
All right. So would you rather live stress free, an average life, or trace greatness with constant fucking struggles?
Stress free, dude. I'm a stressor. I don't know what stress free is. I'll take that.
I'd love to.
That'd be a nice little thing to experiment with. See what it's like to be not stressed out.
Right? You know, kind of taking some of the stuff we've talked about and some life pointers I can give you offline. But, you know, like me, I'm getting in some holes with things where I'm talking about like trying to be like stress free. And it really goes back to changing my value of what do I give a fuck about. Right?
Yeah.
If you haven't read that book, the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, you might pull some of this stuff off this
It's
what I've
still
had.
in my queue.
But it really changes my mindset on how to program what I'm thinking about to focus on what really fucking matters.
Yeah,
and that's what it's not about, you know, not caring. It's about putting what you have into what really matters.
Mindset, baby.
Right? All right, throw one at me.
I'm going to hit you with 5. Would you rather have your kid be the best player on a losing team or the worst player on a winning one?
I'm going to go ahead and tell you. My kid would be miserable to be the worst on a losing team.
You think so?
Or, I'm sorry, to be the worst on a championship team because you know why? He's not there to win or lose. He's there to make something happen on the team. Mm-hmm. And he's really going to enjoy it, actually giving some effort and
make
time.
him be inadequate on a, It's
Right.
they can do it without me kind
like,
of thing.
who wants to sit on the sideline and watch everybody else play a sport that you enjoy playing?
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Right?
Hit me with 4 and we'll wrap her up.
Would you rather always be brutally honest or never be able to express how you really feel?
Anybody knows me. I'm picking the brutally honest. I'm not changing. I'll tell you what you don't want to hear.
Man, brutally honest, I mentioned it earlier.
It's needed.
That's a value that I should appreciate in people.
It's needed.
It's a value that you should strive to have with your spouse, your loved one. If you can't tell your wife that she looks like shit when she looks like shit, you're a shitty husband.
Braver man than me, Cody.
I want you to try.
Than I.
Try telling her next time when you honestly think the shirt's ugly on her. That
You'll
it's
see
ugly.
us on episode 6 with a swelled up eye.
The divorced episode. Enjoyed it, man.
Yes, sir, man. Yeah, stay classy, boys.